The flashing lights from two patrol cars cut through the rain, sirens echoing across the lake. An officer told me I had to move my RV or face removal by force. My kids were crying. My sister was begging me to give in, and standing right there smirking under her umbrella was Karen, the HOA president who thought she owned me. Pete. The conflict begins. My name's David. I'm in my 40s, and for the last 10 years I've owned a little cabin by Cedar Ridge Lake. I work as a mechanic, nothing fancy, but I inherited some money from my dad and decided to buy a place where my family could escape the city. The cabin isn't big cedar siding, red trim, one dock with creaky boards, but to us, it's perfect. Every summer, my sister Emma brings her 2 kids, and they run barefoot through the woods like I did when I was a boy. This summer, I parked my RV next to the cabin. It wasn't junky clean, white, fully registered. The kids loved it. They turned it into their fort, sleeping out there at night like a little adventure. To me, it was harmless. But across the lake sits Mountain Vista Shores, a cluster of million-dollar homes wrapped into an HOA. And at the top of it all, Karen. Karen was the walking definition of entitlement. Mid-50s, bleach blonde bob, pearls even at the lake, always carrying a clipboard like it was a badge. She drove a Lexus SUV and patrolled the neighborhood like it was her kingdom. The first time she showed up at my cabin, she didn't even say hello. She just stood at the end of my driveway, snapping pictures of my RV. "Excuse me," I called out. "Can I help you?" She didn't even look up. "This is a violation," she said flatly. "A violation of what, HOA regulations," she said, smirking. "RVs are not permitted to be parked within view of the lake." I laughed. "Lady, this isn't your HOA. My cabin isn't part of Mountain Vista." Her smile twitched into something sharper. "We'll see about that." Act 2. Escalation and doubt. At first, I brushed it off. I thought, she can't touch me. But Karen wasn't the type to walk away. The next week, a notice appeared taped to my cabin door. "Remove RV within 48 hours or face penalties." The HOA logo at the top. I crumpled it, tossed it in the trash. 2 days later, Emma arrived with the kids. As we unloaded groceries, a sheriff's cruiser pulled up. 2 deputies stepped out. "Sir," one of them said, "we received a call that you're illegally camping on HOA property." I blinked. "This is my land. I've got the deed inside." The deputies checked, saw my paperwork, and shrugged. "Sorry for the trouble." They left. I thought that would shut Karen down, but I underestimated her. The harassment escalated. Late-night knocks on the cabin door. No one there. My mailbox stuffed with anonymous letters. "You don't belong here." One morning I found the RV's tires deflated, valve caps stolen. I started to wonder if keeping the RV was worth it. The kids loved it. But was I putting them in danger? Then came the worst night. It was pouring rain. I was inside with Emma and the kids when red and blue lights filled the windows. 3 patrol cars this time. The lead officer knocked hard. "Sir, we've been told you're trespassing. You'll need to vacate immediately." The kids started crying. Emma pulled them close. My stomach sank. For a split second, I thought maybe I was wrong. Maybe Karen really did have power over me. I walked outside, rain soaking through my shirt. And there she was, Karen, standing under a huge umbrella, lips curled into a smile. "She's lying to you." I told the officers, "This is my property." The officer hesitated. "Ma'am, can you provide documents?" Karen raised her clipboard like it was the Constitution. "Everything's in order," she snapped. But when the deputies checked county records, it was clear. The property line stopped well before the HOA. "Ma'am," the officer said firmly, "this man owns this cabin and land. Your HOA has no jurisdiction." For the first time, Karen's smirk cracked. She turned red, shouting, "You'll regret this." Before storming off into the rain, I should have felt relieved. But instead, I just felt tired. If she'd gone this far, what was next? That night, as the storm rattled the windows, I sat at the table staring at the deed. My hands shook. I whispered to myself, maybe I should just move the RV. Maybe it's not worth fighting. Emma put her hand on mine. "David, this cabin is our family's place. Don't let her scare you out of it." Her words stuck. She was right. Giving in meant teaching the kids that bullies win, and that was something I couldn't allow. Act 3. Climax and Justice. I didn't have to wait long for Karen's next move. 2 nights later, a low rumble woke me. I looked outside, headlights in the driveway. A black crossover SUV backed up toward my RV, chains dragging from its hitch. Behind it stood Karen, screaming through a bullhorn, "Get it out of here! Pull harder!" HOA members in rain jackets stood around, cheering her on. One of them hooked the chain to the RV's axle. The SUV's engine roared, tires spinning mud. The RV rocked violently. Inside, the kids screamed. I bolted out into the storm. "Stop! You're trespassing!" Karen raised her bullhorn. "This is community property now. Remove him!" My heart pounded. For a second, I thought they might actually tear the RV away. I planted myself in front of it, rain pouring down my face. "You touch this RV again," I shouted, "and you'll be charged with theft." The SUV driver hesitated. Karen screamed, "Do it!" And that's when sirens cut through the storm. Deputies' cruisers roared up the drive, headlights blazing. "Step away from the vehicle." The sheriff barked. HOA members froze. The chain clattered to the ground. Karen spun around, still shrieking, "Arrest him! He's the criminal." The sheriff's voice boomed. "No, ma'am, you're the one breaking the law. False reports, trespassing, attempted theft." Karen's face went pale. "You can't do this to me. I'm the HOA president." The sheriff stepped closer. "Not here. You're not." He motioned to his deputies. Karen was handcuffed right there in the mud, screaming about her rights as the neighbors who'd backed her slunk away into the rain. I stood there, soaked, chest heaving, kids crying behind me. But the RV was safe. My land was safe. Final beat. I didn't celebrate, didn't cheer. I just stood on the porch, rain dripping from my hair, watching the patrol cars drive Karen away. And I realized something simple. Bullies thrive on fear. But the moment you stand firm, their power vanishes.